Hello, iRise family. It's me again, Toria. So before we get started, why don't we introduce you to the iRise family and just with a quick introduction, tell people who you are, what you do, and kind of how you got here.
Absolutely. So I think I joined as soon as you were saying my name. So I'm Toni Latham. I think that's like the first intro. I'm a licensed professional counselor. I see clients in the state of Michigan, although I reside in Georgia. But I also have my own business, Vision U Consulting, where I also do life coaching and really help people on their career path. So I've been doing that for maybe about the last year and a half or so. Prior to that, I'll say my career was more of a sample and a lot of different things, trying out. Some profound things I've done. I've been a manager for retail and restaurants. So doing a lot of that for like 13 plus years. Found the joy of helping students find their career paths. And so I went to school to be a school counselor. Worked in the high school settings and middle school settings to where I just fell in love with college students after a while. Really enjoyed them until where now I'm just transitioning to being a counselor. So I still help help college students with their career just on another different path in a way, because I help them with all their life situations that's going on. You know, as we know, adulting is a challenge, and so I'm their sounding board when they need that. So that's pretty much my career kind of path. It's been quite a few years, but that's what I do now as far as like counseling clients, and I see a lot of people in the state of Michigan.
Well, that's amazing. Yes, adulting is the ghetto. I can attest to that. So I'm glad people have someone like you who they can reach out to and get help as they need it and get that guidance. So we're having tonight's live with the topic of mental health prior to the holidays. So we're finally in that last quarter of the year. It's the fall for everyone who just loves to pull out their nudes. As you see, I could not wait. And their olive greens and their orange and burgundy. We also know that this time also brings a lot of stressors for people. This time of the year is tied to anxiety and depression for a lot of people. And so before we get deep off into the fall and winter, we want to bring up this topic to address with all of our followers so they can kind of be prepared for this time of the year. And if they ever start going down that road of feeling a little anxious or sad, they can be prepared. And so the first question I have for you are, what are the top 3 mental health issues you tend to see in your clients during the holidays?
Yeah, good question. And I wish I could keep it to the top 3. So I will try, but it'll probably go a little bit beyond that. But I would say a big one you see right now is stress. So you see a lot of stress, and it could be stress from financials. So when we think about the holidays and how much money we spend, along with just trying to make it from day to day, that finance starts to hit us. It could just be stress because of family, because also it's a big time to be around family. You know, a lot of us love our family, but sometimes we got those challenging members in our family. So just dealing with them a lot more during the holidays than you would any other time of the year. And then some of us also struggle and don't have that much family. And so feeling the stress of that, of like, what am I going to do for the holidays if I don't have people to be around? And then there may be also, depending on your work experience, it also may be just the work responsibilities that happen around this time of the year. And so going into that. So stress on so many different levels is the first thing I really like to see. And then the next ones are kind of common. It's going to be depression. Thinking about, the holidays, again, sometimes it's joyful for some people, and sometimes it's not. It may bring up some past trauma. Some people may not have had past like holidays that were so great. And then also that anxiety. Again, I'm going to be around people. Maybe I have social anxiety, and then just being in those big crowds again. When we think about when we go out shopping, I know we can do online things now, but still when we're getting out and being around people, and especially during the pandemic, as much as we would like for it to be over, it is still constant. And so thinking about that, because they got these different variants coming out. And so that social anxiety comes out. It might be a little bit heightened during this time as well. And then another one I think is sometimes grief. Just because we lose we lose throughout the year. You think about this might be the first holiday that you're experiencing without that person, that family member, that friend. And I know I've lost a lot in 2020 and 2021. And so again, it's like it may be that year first. So grief is one as well. And then loneliness, just flat out loneliness. Like even if sometimes you do have people around you that care for you, there are times when we feel lonely. So just thinking about those are like my top three, or a little bit more than three, that happens. And I just will say mental illness doesn't go away. So just because it's the holidays, if you've been struggling with things all year round, it's going to still struggle. You may still have some challenges during the holidays, and it might just be heightened because you might be interacting with other people a little bit more than what you would throughout the year.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so for people who don't usually get or don't even notice when they're starting to maybe feel these stressors or this anxiety or this depression, what are some typical behaviors that they should probably look out for to know, okay, I might need to start seeking out help?
Absolutely. So, and you know what? It depends on the person. The way we express our depression or anxiety or our stress, it actually could depend on your gender. It could depend on your age. So even if I think about men, they might show some anger. They might be irritable. They might do some behavior that's a little bit reckless than what they would normally do. But if it's a woman, she might feel worthless during this time. She might feel fatigued, very tired, maybe even some guilt. When I talked about earlier, like the financial, like I got to take care of, I have to do things for my children, or I have to buy for family members. So, feeling that guilt and that stress as well. When I think about children, they may act out. They may not have the same behavior, or they might cling to you a little bit more than what they usually do. And even like older adults, they may express a little bit different with some like memory loss during the holidays. It could even be just loss of wanting to do anything, hobbies or activities. And since there are so many different signs, the one thing I want everyone to kind of pay attention to is if you have a friend, a coworker, a roommate, if they start to act a little bit different, not the same person that you've known for these last year or, throughout the year, then just be intentional with asking them how they're doing. And, that's so general, asking someone how they're doing. And sometimes they say, I'm good, but don't leave it at that. Be a little bit more intentional to say, okay, if you're doing good, then tell me 2 good things that's happening for you. You want to get everybody to kind of talk a little bit more. So that they really ought to think about, okay, what are the 2 good things, if they can come up with that. And if they can't, maybe they say things are spiraling out of control. And you're being that friend, so go ahead and listen. They're not asking you to solve their problem, but just go ahead and listen so that you can say, well, maybe you need to talk to a counselor. It sounds like you're going through a lot, and talking to a professional should be the next step. So just to be a little bit more intentional with our follow-up questions of how you doing, good, but let's not just stop there. If you start to see that person has just changed a little bit during the holidays, just really paying attention to your friends and those around you.
Yeah, I like that, being that advocate for our friends and for those people around us. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people are like, okay, well, if I do start feeling these ways, or I do start feeling different, what can I do to change it? A lot of times we just want to instantly go to the solution. How can we fix the problem? And we know for some of these issues, it's probably more than just a quick fix. But what are some techniques people can put within their toolkits to kind of help when they're going through any holiday blues?
Absolutely. I think that you made a good point. Like, we got to have some type of coping skills to kind of get through. And so the first thing I always say is I ask people, who's in your support system? Build your support system. And support system does not have to be your family members. It could be whoever is in your circle. So I know one thing for me is I've moved a lot throughout my life. And so, yeah, I may have some family in that area, but I may not. And so when I go somewhere, I'm integrating myself, whether it's with my colleagues, if I'm joining a meetup group, I'm trying to meet other people. And I'm a strong introvert, but I still like to meet people so I can have, okay, who's in my support system? Who do I know that I can call if I need to? Who might be willing to talk, or who might be willing to go walk the park with me or explore the new city that I'm living in. So I just always say, think about who is in your support system. And I feel like we at least have one or two people that we can connect with. So start building and make a list of who's in my support. Who do I have in my circle? Get yourself a self-care routine. What are you doing to look after yourself? Is it pedicures? Is it exercise? Is it coloring? You know, is it artwork? What are you doing as part of your self-care? There are so many things that you can do. I was just in the dollar store the other day, and they have facials. They have, so it's like you don't even have to spend a lot of money for you to do some of your own self-care things. So just making sure you kind of invest in yourself during this time. Think about your wellness, and think about wellness is so many different aspects, but think about what you're eating. You know, do I have healthy foods in my house? You know, I know during the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas, the family's gonna cook, you know, artery clogging mac and cheese. So what am I gonna do to combat that? Because that heavy food, that fried food, is gonna make me feel heavy and make me feel, you know, kind of down if I'm already feeling down. So what do I have at home? Do I have some yogurt? Do I have some healthier options that I could even bring to the family gatherings or things like that, so that I am, you know, still keeping with my health? Exercise. It doesn't have to be all, you know, you don't have to join the gym, but there's free YouTube videos that you can do. If you live in a nice place where the weather is nice, go for a walk. You know, even if it's cold, go outside for 5 minutes, get some fresh air. But just try to do something to kind of keep your body active as well. I also say during this time, think about your environment, your atmosphere that you're in. If you have a room, like, what does your room look like? Do you decorate it? Do you have lighting? You know, there's a such thing as light therapy. So making sure that, you know, you have an ambiance that's going to help you with your mood, you know, whether it's lighting incense or something, you know. And then if you're spiritual, that make sure you are, you know, a lot of people say, oh, okay, I'm a Christian, I got the Bible app. But do you open the Bible app? You know what I'm saying? Are you doing a Bible app plan? And maybe that's not you with the Bible, but are you doing parts of your religion? Are you practicing it? You know, are you going to church? Are you seeing, you know, your friends who are practicing the same spirituality as you? You know, are you with them closely? Are you fellowshipping? Are you meditating? You know, just thinking about some of those other aspects. You know, start adding that to your toolbox. I also think about music, thinking about like the songs that make you happy, thinking about books that you might read. So a lot of different things can be in your toolbox, and definitely just find what you like and try it out. Just test it out.
Yes, I love that. I love all of those techniques. You brought up a good point with making sure we're eating well. I know this is usually time where I have a few too many of those holiday cookies and some of those sweet treats. So yes, I agree with that. Watching what we eat, getting a little exercise. And you also brought up books. So that leads me to our next question. When thinking about like different media outlets, whether it's books or podcasts, what are some different resources that you would recommend?
Yeah, so I brought up books, but I never have time to read books myself. So, but there are a lot of different books out there. Definitely, you know, I would say more, I listen to more podcasts because I got so much going on. So you could even do a search on NPR podcasts and think about therapy, but one that I listen to is Code Switch. And not that it's so therapeutic, but it also just talks about some workplace realities and cultural realities that I just may need to hear someone else's voice about, and other perceptions with. I am very careful though of how I use my social media. So if you're using social media to keep up with friends and see the latest trends, like that's cool. But I do use mine to follow different therapists, different companies, different organizations, or different people in my field that I really like, what they're posting. And so just keeping up with them, I follow Therapy for Black Girls. I follow Therapy for Black Men. There's also Find Your Shine Therapy. And so because I have a wide array of clients, so I even listen to the Love Therapist just so I can get more insight into couples and different things that I'm working with clients. I did make a list, so I'm just going to share these cultural podcasts for our audience. But one I like is A Different Perspective with Dr. Amber Thornton. Affirm is another one by Dr. Davia Roberts. Black in Therapy by Nikita Banks. And then there's also With That Being Said by Esther Boykin and Erica Turner. And I feel like, just branch out a little bit. I feel like a lot of people know about Therapy for Black Girls. And I love Dr. Joy Harden, but I just also, Harden Bradford, but I also just say, expand what else is out there, see what else is out there in podcasts. I really like for TV shows, I like reality TV shows because I just love to see other people have things going on in their life. And it's like, oh, okay, my life is wonderful after I watch a show of a reality, Housewives, anything like that. So finding some different shows on TV that make you feel a little better, I think is good. And I have to throw this in there because I did a Facebook live back in April. But there is a group out there or a team, 2 ladies, they're called Not Crazy and Not Alone. So just watching, even just scouring Facebook watch and see what else is out there for therapy. So those are some of the things that I use. Definitely different articles. I love WebMD, almost everything on WebMD. There's the National Institute of Health that I look into a lot as well. Because I'm a part of some other organizations with counseling, I do some of those articles. But, easily Google, you can easily Google things. But I love WebMD. I just feel like they're a little bit more legit with what they're talking about.
Okay, great. Well, the very last question that I have for you, for people out there who are hoping to seek professional help, what tips would you give them on how to find a therapist?
So there are so many different ways to find a therapist, but what I want to say is when you start looking for a therapist, look for someone that you feel like you can relate to. It may be based off of culture, it may be based off of gender, it may be based off of location. Maybe you want someone in your area that knows what's going on in your environment. So you can actually search that. You can see how long they've been in therapy. Maybe you want someone that's brand new. Maybe you want somebody that's been in the field for over 10 years or, plus, anything like that. But think about who you want to talk to and who you're going to feel comfortable talking to when you decide on your therapist. And once you decide on a therapist, you can do a consultation with them. And you can say, oh, okay, I feel like I can really talk to this person, so I'll come back to them for a full session. Or you can say, you know what, we're not matching. It's not going to work out. I can find another therapist. I never take it personal. I hope other therapists don't take it personal because at the end of the day, we just want you to get the help that you need. So you definitely want to look for someone who you can relate to. So a couple, the National Institute of Health, you actually can just do a search on there in your area for a therapist. You also can do psychologytoday.com, and they will give you someone in your area. You can even look by the actual topics maybe you want to talk to them about holiday stress. Maybe you want to talk about depression. So you can actually see someone who is skilled on that topic. And then also, a lot of people don't know your insurance company may cover your mental health visit. So definitely use insurance if you can. A lot of companies use employee assistance programs, and a lot of the employee assistance programs will give you so many sessions free. The least amount of sessions free I've seen are 3, but I've also seen some that give you 12 sessions. Why not use that free benefit? Or you're paying for the benefit, so go ahead and use it. But maybe you want someone of culture, right? A therapist of culture. So actually, therapy for Black girls have their own directory. And so you can actually find someone in your area that matches, again, if you're a Black woman looking for that, or if you just want a Black therapist or a person of color, then you can use therapy for Black girls directory. I will also say I work for Talkspace. And so virtual behavioral health is a thing now, especially with COVID. You don't want to get out. You can, meet with me virtually. So even going on Talkspace.com, and you can find a therapist, as soon as today in your area. And they actually would give you matches to where you actually get to, here's 3 different therapists. Okay, I like what this person is saying. So let me go ahead and try them out. So any of those options, maybe even talking to your friends and saying, do you have a therapist? Is there somebody you should, recommend? So definitely feel, open to talk to friends who have tried therapy before, can give you that give you that advice.
That's great. No, I'm so thankful for you coming on and giving us all your wisdom. I'm hoping that the people who are able to tap in tonight, as well as those who see it in the future, will be able to gain something from this live. We know, again, like you said earlier, this time can bring a lot of stress, a lot of loneliness, a lot of feelings that either you've had all year long or feelings that you're just now starting to get because of the season. So hopefully people will find something here tonight that they resonate with and that they'll be able to take for the rest of this season.
Absolutely.
Well, again, thank you so much for coming here tonight. Do you have any last words that you would like to leave our followers?
No, I don't think so. I just want to say, it is the holiday season coming up. And just to be mindful that although it's the holidays and it's joyous, it's not joyous for everyone. So just being mindful of who's around you and, thinking about, it might be a happy time for me, but is it a happy time for them? And just how can we look out for each other? Like, that's what we are. That's what we do as human beings. So just continue to showcase that and look out for your neighbor. And it may be possible to share some joy with them, but definitely check in with them. But I do appreciate you inviting me. I always like to talk about counseling, so I appreciate this time.
Amazing. Well, thank you, everyone that was able to log on. And for those of you who check out the live after the fact, if something resonates with you, feel free to leave a comment. Have a great night.